Hello, everybody. This is Duncan here, and we're going to be going through another week in Cloudy's Roundup. We have got a ton of news to go through. Xbox have made big moves. Luna are kicking things into life as well. Stadia is Stadia, and GFN have got some interesting gets this week, and they've actually got a great game coming down the line. So sit back and relax as we go through everything. Oh my goodness!
Wait, what? He's made it!
He made it up!
I didn't realise he made it.
I've made it!
Oh, spot on timing, Barry. Spot on timing. 100.
There we go, see?
100 timing there. For people who don't know, when we kicked this off, Barry was not here. Barry has just magically appeared. So, Cloudy's Roundup, and it's been another... I think it's been a great week for cloud gaming, no matter what platform is your preference or anything like that. Every single one of them have done something pretty decent this week. So it's going to be a fun show. Bar PlayStation, but that's PlayStation, to be fair. And they don't count because they only do things like once a month.
So PlayStation's big week is coming up soon, isn't it? They've got more shows and... Hey, let's get into it.
Let's get into it, Jess. So we will kick things off and we will let the tradition continue, and Barry can tell us what we are kicking off with here.
I should ask the question before we go in because I probably missed the memo with the day that I've had. Are we skipping any subjects tonight?
No.
We're doing
some platforms might be shorter than others.
Okay.
Hey, there's jokes there as well. There's jokes. We're not making them jokes.
No jokes tonight.
No jokes tonight. I don't know if you got that memo. No.
What?
No. Why aren't we allowed to make any jokes?
I thought we were supposed to have jokes, particularly on the next one, surely.
No jokes at all tonight. No.
Okay.
No jokes.
All right then. Okay. So I guess we're looking for a platform. Obviously, we've talked about PS Now because we've just said that they've not done anything this week. So we can gloss over that one. So why don't we go for... Hey, let's go back to tradition. We're using Shadow tonight. Let's go for Shadow first, shall we?
Okay. Moving on to our next subject.
There we go.
Yeah, that's it. We've talked about Shadow. We're using Shadow tonight. It's still running.
It's still alive.
It's still alive. It still works. I actually realised just how expensive it was when I was looking up games for our upcoming stream for GeForce Now. There was a game that I got suggested that isn't on GeForce Now, but I realised that buying it and running it through Shadow, the game would cost half the price of 1 month worth of Shadow.
Okay.
Which I think sums up my feelings towards the price hike.
I think it does. I think that covers it.
There is a wee tiny bit of Shadow news. I got my email this week about that price hike. And I'm continuing with Shadow. I forgot to say this.
That Cloudy's going bust by the end of the year.
Yes. Yeah. Or something along them lines. With that, I'm getting to keep my storage with the same price. Or we're keeping our storage for the same price. So they're not taking our storage off us, which is good. We pay for a ton of extra storage and we're being allowed to keep it.
Clearly they know we're influential customers.
We're very influential because we don't talk about Shadow Lag or anything when we're doing play-alongs. We do not mention Shadow Lag.
No. They may take our tiers, but they'll never take our storage.
Exactly. So there is a big positive there with
trying to get a Scotland reference in there, are we?
Yeah. We're not mentioning Scotland tonight. We're not allowed to mention Scotland tonight.
We can go on as long as we want, really, can we?
Yes. So is there anything else we want to talk about Shadow there? Except I'm getting some free storage, apparently. So
excellent. No, I think that clears us to move on to the next subject, I believe.
Okay. And what's our next subject?
I'm really missing my button.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll sort you out with something.
Yes, if you were here on time, you would have been in shadow and you would have been able to click buttons. And you would have been able to go whatever the next one is.
Fair point. Okay. So for the next one, let's turn it purple and let's go to the Lunar news for the week.
Oh dear. Sammy, I think you were talking to me about Luna before we went on here.
Luna's got some decent games coming to a platform. We heard it's got, I think, Valkyrie Chronicles 4, Saints Row 3 remastered, are both announced coming to Luna Plus in July. And it's also getting Dirt 5, or as I'm going to call it, Dirt 2.5. Because despite the fact Luna, we've always heard that Luna is an easier platform to port to than Stadia, because Luna uses the PC versions, the Windows x86 versions. But for Dirt 5, they've decided to cut the multiplayer content. They decided to cut the Playgrounds content, which, in my opinion, is the best part of the game. The custom-made levels and driving each other's levels through that at the same times, trying to beat your friends. They're also cutting the time trials, which I really don't understand. So it's really just the story mode of Dirt 5 that's coming to Luna Plus, which is a good mode in itself. I quite like it. I'm towards the end of completing it on Stadia, but I'm not sure that's a complete game being ported to Luna, guys.
Do we think this is maybe just due to the Luna?
We're definitely coming off of new things, as you know. If you join our show, you always learn new terms and things like that.
Go on, say it.
Is it as a result of the fact that it's obviously in beta, and obviously, technically, we know that there are key elements that are not necessarily widespread on the platform?
There are games on Luna that do have multiplayer.
Only selected ones, though, isn't it? They're very carefully selected.
Ones, but they've not selected it for Dirt 5. And it's not as if lack of player base is a problem, because Dirt 5's got cross-play on everything else.
Indeed, but one would argue that if they're not ready to go with their multiplayer service, they give you a little taste of the action, and then when they're ready to pop out a beta, go worldwide, then they can just literally hit the button and the rest of the features are there. Give you enough time to complete the single player and then turn on the multiplayer when you're done.
Or could it be, I'm just throwing stuff out here, Dirt 5 is not actually that popular in the States? and they sort of know that.
I disagree. It's an arcade racer. It's off-road. It's good fun. It's not... When I think of American racing, I normally think IndyCar and NASCAR. It's obviously not that. But they do have off-road racing. They got Pikes Peak. That's America, isn't it? Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, mind you on saying that, there's quite a bit of hoonigan stuff in there with obviously Jim Carner and Ken Block, which
yes,
I would have thought that might have appealed.
It's not as if Dirt 5 is going to be lost on the American audience.
Yeah, I'm just throwing stuff out there just to get people talking. You know what I'm like. I just like stirring things up there. I think it is a big disappointment that it is not got there, because as we know, there's a couple of games that have multiplayer. But I'm with Sammy with this one, with the what's the mode called again? The playground mode.
Playgrounds.
Not being there, I think that is probably a missed opportunity there, especially because, as we know, Luna is integrated into Twitch. You can see where I'm going. So I think it is. I can see why it's probably not there, but I am pretty disappointed that it's not including them. The other games, however, I think pretty good gets again.
It's another two gets of games that exist in the cloud going to another location, isn't it?
Yeah.
And kind of those developers kind of just continuing that expansion of their cloud coverage. But I do agree they are good gets. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of these ones where we'll probably come to this later, even though I don't really want to come to it later, in that it makes it very, very compelling. For $6 a month, you get all these games, and we are still yet to have any games leave Luna. Games will leave Luna, but there is no games going to leave Luna until the end of beta, or however long that is going to be. And the value just keeps on getting higher and higher and higher. And when you start comparing it to the different platforms out there, it is becoming more and more compelling. Over the last month on Luna, I'm reading the blog post here just so I get it all right here. Dirt 2.0, Killer Queen Black, The Falconeer, and Yakuza 0 was added this week. Pretty good games on top of the games already there. And this month they're adding Dirt 5, Saints Row the Third Remasters, and Valkyria Chronicles 4. $6 a month. And you get all these
can't deny the value.
Yeah, we'll probably come on to this a wee bit later, because I think there's going to be a big discussion at the end because of the news which has dropped this week, and I think we are seeing a clear and utter divide now between paid for services and subscriptions, and I make no bones about it. I am a fan of the subscription model. I do want to buy games as well, but subscriptions just make gaming better for a lot of people out there. We've talked about going into these different markets, like the untapped markets. The subscription model is where people are going to really, really get the numbers, in my opinion.
Agreed. If we're allowed to agree with you this evening.
No one's never.
We're allowed to agree on this stream.
Yeah, we'll save the disagreement for the next one.
Oh yes, definitely. Sammy, what do you think about the game or the other games here?
So the other games, again, I pretty much agree with these two games that are available on other cloud services. I believe they're both available on Stadia, and I know Saints Row 3 is on GFN, but I'm not sure about Valkyria. But again, a good range of games. Nice to see some more racing games represented in the platform. Again, we have to mention Luna. We had Prime Day come and go. Nothing about it coming to the UK yet.
Yeah, but
except I did remember. Yeah, you had a.
Oh, I wasn't going to mention that. It was just reminding me about Prime Day. Prime Day, they actually did a big, massive sort of push onto Luna in the States, trying to get people to do that, and they did the wee bundle as well. Yes, what you're hinting at is I moved a step closer to getting into Luna. I got into the login screen, and then it kicked me out. So there's it's edging closer. I think there's a lot of people underestimating how big Luna could actually get, because when we're touching to this in the Stadia news later about Chromecasts getting Stadia, Fire Sticks, Fire Cubes are out there as well, and they have got a massive install base as well. So it isn't just one platform's going to be exclusive to all this. All of them are going to be on all these different services going forward, and this is why the competition is going to be absolutely fierce going forward. But we'll touch on that shortly. Barry, anything you want to add on the other games?
No, I don't think there's much more to add really. I think they're good gets, as we said, and yeah, I think it's just repeating the fact that obviously we've got developers clearly committed to cloud, which is the biggest. That's the big positive I take from these things when you see them kind of crop up on different platforms.
And I just realized something. I forgot to do something, so we'll do it now. Well, I spent time doing this, and you don't even know what I'm doing.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah, I've just put the Dirt 5 video up now, so just to see that, to make it all. I'm just so daft at times. It's just
this was your idea of a new format, and
I messed it up.
You're messing it up, yeah.
But I like this new one because it means.
And I'm not paying enough attention to correct you because I can't remember.
Oh dear! See what I have to deal with here. It's just completely and utterly unreal.
It's awful. It's absolutely awful.
Yeah, I think Luna is in a real good spot, and as soon as they announce a new word is coming and the other game, which is slipped my mind, I think business is going to pick up, as people say, and then rolling this out. I think Luna is in a real interesting and probably good spot if they start a real big massive push, and you can see them still talking to the Twitch streamers and they're continuing to roll things out like that. I think they know what they're doing there, and the softly approach, I think, is probably going to do them a world of good, because their library is expanding, and I think it's expanding so quietly that people aren't actually picking up on how good value this is.
I was just going to say that.
What was that? Sorry.
How many games do Luna Plus subscribers get from their $5.99 a month?
I've lost count to see if it's in the blog post here, but it is it 70 odd now? It's definitely increasing every week now. So
we reckon it's around 10 cents a game per month.
Yep, something like that.
Ouch.
So again, this is what we've been talking about. It's why things are just going to be completely and utterly complex going forward. It's because there's so much competition out there.
Yeah, definitely. And they are making, as you said, they're making moves and they're making strides, but they're so quiet and they're not really coming under. I don't really feel like they're coming under any real scrutiny, apart from maybe rolling out, in more countries. They're not really coming under any great deal of scrutiny. They're just kind of doing their thing, and you can just see it, at the point that they're confident and they're ready, they're going to push the button, but they're not going to do it until they're content that product that they are going to roll out in wide release is going to be of that Amazon standard that is good enough to carry the brand name.
I wonder if those two things are related to the fact that they're not getting as much scrutiny because they're not worldwide yet. Whilst they're only focused on one country, albeit a big market for them, of course, do they kind of avoid the massive scrutiny because they're not getting the UK press, the European press?
No, I think it's just the way they positioned themselves coming out. They have came out saying, we're not going after console gamers, we're not going after PC gamers, we're going to be complimentary. You can just subscribe to us and just jump in. We're not going after anybody. We're just going to do it nice and gently and don't worry about us, sort of thing. And they didn't come out with the big bold sort of plans that we're going to be a console beater and things like that. It's just a PR and marketing is all.
So, we said it as everyone was saying at the start when Luna launched. They learned lessons from other platforms launching some pitfalls they fell into, and they've managed to work out ways around them and how to divert people away from those problems and just get people focusing on the games and the service.
Yeah, and I think the way they've actually I hate talking business models. Their business model with the subscription is actually lessening the scare stories out there, because if Luna was to shut down tomorrow, what would you lose?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that is another thing, just why they're not getting as much heat as well. And the beta tag is a catch-all. Just like you said, with like the Dirt 5 video going on here, it doesn't have multiplayer, it doesn't have the playgrounds. What do we turn around? It's in beta and it covers them. But because as long as they continue to impress and move on and continue to add things and add games, the beta tag sticks for me for a while yet.
Yeah, certainly. When you see products in beta, they tend to, on the scale and stature of kind of what they're operating with, they tend to sit in beta for a sizable, a good chunk of time. And I dare say there's probably a lot of work gone on behind the scenes, even before they got to the point of saying, okay, we'll go into early access, we'll go into beta, So I think definitely that, they've staged it exceptionally well. And I don't think they are going to kind of unleash anything further on that front until they're absolutely ready.
Yeah. I think we will move on because we actually had a big lot to talk about Luna there. What's going on with this?
Yeah, we've talked about Luna for ages, and we still haven't got onto the two big news items this week.
We've got big news items this week.
You might have seen them around.
I actually think there's 3 big news items of the week from 3 platforms, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
That's fair enough. I know which one I don't count that you do, but I can see why some might. Let's move on anyway.
Okie dokie. Shall we go? Oh, I've got a choice now, haven't I? We've got 3 left, haven't we? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go. Stadia.
Oh, Stadia.
You're doing that now. Okay.
That mixed you up, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Hey, you thought I was gonna go green.
Behind the scenes, I'm introducing this really, but Barry mentions what we're doing, and then Duncan has to frantically look through which videos to put on the 4th square.
Yes, I've got it up and running there.
If you say so. I can't see it yet. We're 30 seconds behind. So yeah, Stadia. Did anyone want to pick this up? What happened?
I think obviously the obvious one to talk about for this week, of course, is the fact that the Stadia app is now available on Android TVs or selected Android TVs. Obviously, it's available on the Google TV with Chromecast, aka Sabrina, Chromecast 3, whatever you want to call it. So that's there. And it's obviously, of course, it's on the Shield TV as well.
And the cheap Walmart one.
And your favourite cheap Walmart one, yes.
Not calling Sammy cheap. He's going to get a complex. Cheap Sammy, how are you? Now you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, dear.
Where do you want to start this off? And also, we've got the Olympics game is coming, or is out now.
It's out, yeah.
It is out.
And Hello Neighbor as well, which is great to see, which is
Hello Engineer. Yeah.
Oh, yep. Hello Engineer, which is a
early access.
And
it's first on Stadia, so yeah.
So we've got a bit of a Stadia exclusive as well, which is good to see because that could drive people to the platform. So I think the big talking point is the Chromecast with Google TV. Who wants to delve in first? Actually, no. We're going to go Barry first. There's a reason. Do you know what the reason is?
I think I might.
Yes.
Oh God, I feel like I'm being set up for something here.
No. I'll say it out. Yeah, I think Sammy thinks Stadia's has had a great week this week. So. And I think he wants to be really enthusiastic about it. So
okay, no worries.
That is why
we're getting you out of the way.
That's fine. Okay, so where do we start? Okay, so obviously it eventually arrived on the 23rd. I don't know what we seem to be, even though it was an app, not a game launch, we seem to be in another time zone or dimension for that going active. If I'm honest with you, because I kind of, by the point that it actually went live for us here in the UK, I think well over probably 3/4 of our day had gone before it kind of went live, which I know technically it was still here on the 23rd. So yes, okay, well done. You said 23rd, it's here. I have so many varying opinions on it. It's got a shiny new logo to boot.
You're calling it a boot? What?
No, when it boots up, it's a shiny new logo. I think there endeth the new parts, because the rest is it's pretty much the same as the experience that we're accustomed to across the CCU or anywhere else that we might access it. Personally, for the first couple of days that I've tried it, and I've tried it across a couple of games, so I've tried to kind of mix it up. Performance has not been great for me. I've tried it wireless. I've tried it hardwired. So I've tried it on 2 separate devices. Bear in mind that I've got a 1 gig internet connection. I don't suffer any issues with kind of speed or, anything like that. The performance has been a bit poor. I've had quite a lot of pixelation. I was playing F1 and I had ridiculous kind of lag, in response. And I know sometimes that game can have its kind of jolts, which was why I kind of said, well, I'm not going to form my opinion just off playing one game. But I've just generally not had the wow experience that I'd kind of hoped for. I think considering we've waited a considerable amount of time for it to be available on Android TV, I was expecting a much more polished experience. And if I'm honest, I know it's the first iteration of it. I know they're probably going to do some work on it, but I was expecting more than what we've got. And I know certainly from kind of reading some of the stuff that the guys at 9 to 5 put out, they did a bit more of a kind of a deeper dive. And if their understanding was kind of correct, it's not even technically a native application. It's a web application that utilizes Flutter and creates a bit of magic on the back end, which I'm all for engineering and I've got a real appreciation for it. But considering we've been told that we are going to have a native app, to kind of get here and find out that it's a glorified web app, I was a little disappointed in, to sort of say the least. So my initial experience, considering what I was waiting for, has not been brilliant. I know everybody's experience is probably different, or there is an opportunity for everybody's experience to be different. I think it had the opportunity to be a home run for them this week, and I feel like maybe they've got to third base instead of a home run with what they've delivered.
Okay, should I go next or should I?
That killed the conversation, didn't it?
I'm just pausing to let that sink in a little bit.
Okay, Sammy, you can go now.
What time do the blog posts go live, Barry?
Yes, I know. But are we really stuck in a day and age? Like, my Android phone doesn't wait until 5 o'clock to do an update on apps. So why is Google TV and the waiting to publish an app that I've had incidentally pre-installed for 2 days that kept telling me it was coming soon?
That coming soon means you've got it on there, but it needs something to be sent from a central location.
Okay,
you do that with the pro games as well.
I'll stick my oar in here quickly and say, do you think this is just another case of being too US focused? Because we have brought this up, and we're not the only ones to bring this up. That there is seems to be a major US sort of push in Stadia. They sort of forget that there's people over in Europe. And this isn't just with these sort of things, it's with games coming out, some of the competition.
I think there is a US-centered approach on it. But I don't think we can complain too much for, we got it a few hours later. I was working 9 till 5.
Working 9 to 5.
There's our copyright strike.
Yeah.
But I was
Are
working.
you saying
for,
that I'm not good at a singer? We're going to get a copyright strike. That's what I just heard there.
that was working majority of the day, and I obviously didn't have time to game soon. But when I got home, it was working. I played Dirt 5, Destiny 2, and Orcs Must Die 3. I think I like games with numbers at the end of them at the moment. And I had no problem with any of them. And this was actually probably one of the best experiences I've had on any Stadia device that isn't hardwired. I'll be able to say that I've not used my Chromecast Ultra for a while, so it was a bit weird seeing the old side menu when you press the Stadia button. I would have liked a better UI, I'll admit. Having to scroll through one by one to get through some of the games. I mean, Orcs Must Die 3 was one that was quite a way down in my list because I hadn't played it much since, I'm going to say, September. I would have also liked the opportunity to set up a live stream from the Google TV. So something like the actual the Stadia.com webpage would be closer to what I was expecting. But I don't think we can be too disappointed at that. It's now on multiple devices. Out there, it's the Google TV, it's the NVIDIA Shield, it's the cheap Walmart one, it's plenty of others as well. Another thing that came out was I got an email for Google TV updates, which included a 50% off Stadia controller. Now, for me, I've got 3 controllers. I've got 3 Stadia controllers. I've got plenty more other controllers as well. I'm the only one that plays Stadia. I'm not really going to be using that 50% off coupon. I'm going to have to find some way. I'll probably give it away at some point. I'm not sure. But there's going to be plenty of people who bought Google TV who probably don't even know what Stadia is. Going to be looking through their email. Oh, Stadia, play games. 50% off controller, so £30. Looks quite good. Give it a go. Matt gets it into people's hands and promotes the service. The other thing I found out, I don't know whether this is something I've just not, because I've not plugged a Chromecast Ultra in for a while. Setting up a spare room in the house recently after my sister moved out, I plugged in one of the spare Chromecast Ultras I had lying about from the millions I got sent. And the first thing it loaded up, without being prompted after being set up, was the Stadia app. I'm not sure this is something we've all missed because we've not set up a Chromecast Ultra for a while, but there does seem to be a definite effort from Google to push Stadia into people's homes, onto people's screens. I think that's really what we've been saying for a while. That's what they need to be doing. They need to be getting it out there, making it available to people.
Do you think they've done enough with that this week, though? Because obviously, as it is at the moment, you effectively have to go and install it.
You have to go and install it, but they are letting people know it's there.
Yeah,
it's there might well be more to come. I saw an advert for a Chromebook on Facebook, which had an image of someone playing The Crew 2 on Stadia on a Chromebook. So there's obvious cross promotions going on, and it's obvious that Stadia is starting to get pushed into the wider world, and making it a bit more easier for people to find Stadia and not say understand what it is yet, but have a go with it and discover it works.
I'm going to ask a question here for you. Yeah. And then I'll give my thoughts. This is just me being a bit trolly. See, I admit when I'm being a bit trolly. You are on the Chromecast Ultra or Chromecast with Google TV. Oh, I like the look of Dirt 5 since we've been talking about Dirt 5. I'm going to go down. I want to play this. It gets suggested. They click onto it. What happens then? Is there a store?
At the moment, stores, there isn't a store available on Chromecast Ultra. You'd have to buy the game through your phone app, and then it would be available on your streaming stick.
I think that is such a major oversight because that is an extra barrier up there to actually get it up there and play. It's another hoop people will have to go through to do it. I know it's I know a lot of people say that's a minor sort of hoop, but it is still a hoop to go through to actually get some of these games. And I think that was a major sort of oversight. Overall, I think it's actually been a good week for Stadia. They've got this out here. They were actually promoting that on the Chromecast or whatever that stupid dongle thing. The Apple TV's better and the Shield's better. With that, and it's going to get eyeballs, and it may tempt people to actually play it. My concern for them down the line is when the xCloud app goes onto that. I think it's an absolute cert. It goes onto that, and then you're getting into these sort of conversations. What will the casual sort of audience want to go for in the Stadia with the cloud gaming or with Xbox? Because not only Stadia is absolutely great for what it does, but you're going to be going up against, I've heard of Xbox, I've heard of Halo, Sea of Thieves has got Pirates of the Caribbean on it. This is
why these few months, whilst xCloud doesn't have that app on streaming sticks, or Microsoft don't have their own streaming stick out there, it's not quite clear what route they're taking yet. Arguably, they're probably taking both.
They're taking both,
but at the moment they don't have either out there. So this is the point where Stadia needs to capitalize on that, get people's eyeballs on there, get people playing the games, and so that when xCloud does come along on these streaming sticks, there is actually some consideration.
Yep, they do need to get the people in there and actually playing this as soon as. And I think they've made it real good steps here. But I'm just seeing the bigger sort of picture here. They need a killer app. They need a killer game on there. They've got a small one at this time, and we're talking in Hello Engineer. I think they should be pushing that a fair bit, because that's going to get into people's eyeballs, because that is a recognized franchise and it is a first in Stadia. It's an exclusive on Stadia, and when it loses exclusivity, there will be a song and dance about it losing exclusivity. Just what's happened Microsoft recently with the Medium losing the exclusivity. There was articles, so it's not a vendetta against Stadia that way, but they just need to get people in there and to try it. But I'm not sure, from what I've seen, there's how big of a deal this is going to be for Stadia, because the other competition is down there. And correct me if I'm wrong, you can play GFN in this?
Yes. Yeah, you're able to play GFN on it. Yeah. Certainly since I got the Chromecast, which was back in April.
Yeah, and I think there's competitions already there, and it's just going to get fiercer and fiercer as the months go down there.
The one thing I have seen is, I think it's been mentioned we mentioned it here and it was mentioned in chat, is that they are pushing games through the recommended tab on there. I've seen some people say they were recommended Destiny 2.
Yep.
It's equally possible that later down the line people will be recommended other games based on their viewing preferences and stuff that they indicated they like in their content.
Yeah,
so they have done that with Stadia. They haven't done that with GeForce Now. So there does seem to be an advantage Stadia has there.
I'm going to say this. I think, Barry, were you going to make this point? About the Shield?
Yeah, that's what I was going to make.
You can say that there. You can see yourself better. You'll say that better than me.
Are they doing that through the Shield then?
On the Shield, it does that. There is literally a play next section. So you've kind of on the main screen for the Shield, you've kind of got your app screen, and then there's like where you've got obviously your watch next, you've got a play next. and it literally has a row of games that are available on GFN that you can literally just go, oh, actually, hang on, I'll scroll through that list, and you can just literally click on it and off you go.
See, this is why for me this wasn't a oh my goodness, this is absolutely massive sort of thing, because it's already out there, and we're going to see that with Luna as well, with the Fire TVs and stuff like that. So it's not it's a bad thing this is happening, it's a good thing, but it's not an oh my goodness, this is absolutely brilliant. It's because it's already out there, and that's why it didn't really surprise or shock me that they're doing it, because I've had my Shield for the guts of about 6 months there, and it's been there since I've got my Shield. And this is, I'll expand this out a wee bit here. If you buy a Shield TV, you're more likely to probably be a gamer because it's made by NVIDIA. Would that be a fair point to make?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just because there's how many of these Chromecast out there in the wild, it doesn't mean that they are going to become gamers overnight. There's a chance that they'll become gamers, and it's just the odds thing. How many Xbox Ones are out there which people use? There's tens of millions.
Yeah, I don't have the exact figures to hand, but certainly more from our NVIDIA Shield TVs.
They are definite gamers, and they're going to be getting the opportunity to play Series X stuff. And I think it's this year or in the coming months they'll be able to do that. They are going to be converts to cloud gaming through that, and they're going to jump on that because they are gamers first and foremost. I think Stadia is going to get they are going to get lots of wins out from the Chromecast going there. I don't think it's as big as some people may believe, just like I'm saying it as well with the Luna conversions, with the Fire TVs and the Fire Sticks. There's going to be some conversions over there. It all depends on the games that they're pushing. You're not going to convert people with Destiny 2 on that screen. You're going to need some other sort of games. If SpongeBob was up there, you could probably get a bigger sort of turnover there. Because of
I know you talked about this with children's games and family-friendly games.
You get the family-friendly games there, and you push them up there. Mummy, can I go play SpongeBob? Daddy, can I go play Paw Patrol? This is part
voice
of
it.
Yes, I'm bred at these kid voices, aren't I? And with that, this is only $10 a month. Okay, wee Jimmy, you go and play that I'll sign up for this month.
$10 a wee Jimmy.
Wee Jimmy, yeah. There you go. You can actually do that for. That's the sort of games I think they should be pushing at this time. It's the family-friendly ones, not Destiny 2. And I'm hoping with my amazing Stadia Pro predictions, which you can check out on our channel.
It's not pro predictions, but you did make one other prediction this week, which came through, which is another news story we haven't talked about for Stadia this week yet.
Yeah, well, we can come to that shortly. But it's getting the right games out there and advertising the right games. Even if they got like Hello Engineer on there as a pro game, they could push that. I know this is very, very early days, but Destiny 2 is not going to appeal to the casuals who I think they're really going to want to be pulling in, because you start playing Destiny 2, you're completely confused. If your gamers are confused playing it, never mind complete another randomers.
RPG games are difficult to start. Once you get into them, they do start understanding and you pick up momentum, but certainly the initial first few hours, there's a lot of, what's this? What does this do?
Yeah, it's I think they are in a good position with this getting rolled out. This isn't me ignoring that. I think it's absolutely brilliant that it's there. But again, there's going to be a lot of competition there.
This is a moment where, again, we see the potential of it. We need Stadia to be capitalizing on.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're going to get into the battle of the E word, which we're not going to mention again because we've talked about that so many times, the exclusives. We've talked about it with Lena there earlier on. The amount of crossover in the different types of games on all the different platforms is just getting unreal. And if you put xCloud up against Stadia, up against Luna, the crossover is just absolutely nuts. And then it's going to go, which is better value? And what I can see here at this moment in time, you can see Luna is going for the true value. Over here in the UK, the Tesco value range is what Amazon's going for here. They're still getting some good games in there, but they're going to be older, but there's a good selection. Then you've got xCloud. You're paying extra, but you're getting these big bangers of exclusives as well. I know they're not everybody's taste, and we've talked about it on our different shows, and need to really up the level, but there's exclusive there, and the range is absolutely class. And then you've got Stadia, which is like maybe the hybrid of both of them, but with the added benefit that you can buy your games. So there is lots going on here, and the competition is just going to be fierce. Barry, you haven't spoke for a while, so I'm putting you under the.
I'm not necessarily sure that there's too much more to say. The one thing I will say that I was surprised on is the fact that you have to add the controller every time.
Every time?
No.
With
the 4-button code.
Yeah.
No.
But that's been my experience so far.
It's not been mine.
Every time I've fired it up, the controller hasn't automatically. I've literally had to push the button and then push my key combination in to get it to connect.
That's not been my experience.
Okay, maybe I need to revisit and check. But certainly, when I first tried it, that's how it was. It wasn't working any differently, and which surprised me actually because
I don't know how many controllers and what colours you've got. Are you sure it was the same controller?
Yes, it was the same controller.
I don't know if you've had two white ones, perhaps, and they're both in the living room.
No, the white one is in the living room, but so is the favourite colour of everybody.
The Founder's Blue?
No, not the Founder's Blue. The other favourite one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Wasabi.
Yes, there we go. It just literally, I had to reconnect it, which, as I say, I was surprised. I mean, who knows? It could just be that I need to go and give it another try, and maybe it will kick in. So, but that's certainly my initial experience, as I say, has not been great. But that's not to detract from the fact that it's available, and I think that's the main thing. It's available in more locations, and you can kind of finally put to bed people saying, why is it not on the Chromecast? It's a Google product. It should be there. It's there. That's dead and buried on that front, and we can kind of move on.
Yep, I think we do need to move on because we've got another show on after this. Which,
oh, God.
Yes, we've got two platforms to cover.
Yeah. So, but I just want to finish off on a bit of Stadia news. But said every time there's a free weekend, no matter what platform it is, free weekends on Stadia are absolutely class. Obviously, I understand why it's locked behind Pro. I wish it wasn't, but you can go play Borderlands 3, and it's actually got cross-play and things like that on it as well. Absolutely class. Go play that.
You can do that. Well, not right now, but because you're watching us right now, please don't go and play video games yet. But you can do that once you finish watching us.
Yeah, I hate saying this. If you're going to play Borderlands 3, drop it down to balance mode because it plays in 60 FPS. They need to get a filter or something on that because the 30 FPS in Borderlands 3 is one of the games that makes me feel bleh when I'm playing it on Stadia if it's 4K 30 or 4K 30 and the high performance mode because it is just so janky and just so noticeable. So there was that. Was there any other pieces of Stadia news what we want to cover, or we'll save that to Monday where we get shouted at?
Yeah, why not? We can cover that one on Monday.
Okay, no worries. What are we moving on to now? Oh yeah, we can. Oh, I was Just Dance. I don't want that going on there. I labeled something wrong here.
Don't be
What?
doing that.
Yeah.
Shall we go? Oh, well, we've got 2 greens left. So, Sammy, go on. You can pick it.
Well, I'll tell you what, the obvious one is go for xCloud now, because then we can do GFN double.
Okay. Yes. There we go.
xCloud. Yeah, it worked. At bottom right-hand corner here, you are seeing some footage of xCloud running on the new server blades. This is Rainbow Six Siege, and as you can see there, you can change.
Can we go back? This was the big news of the week for cloud gaming, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely,
this was the big news. So say that again. xCloud running on
Series X blades. I think we're going to actually have a big, massive discussion on this. I think there's actually more going on there because No Man's Sky is coming up and saying it's running in Series S. I think it's all Series X, but there's just some sort of jiggery pokery going on there. But xCloud is running on a Series X for some of the games, not all of the games. There's a couple of notable exceptions, like Forza Horizon is on Series 1S blade still. But there is a number on Series X, including Rainbow Six Siege, which you can see at the bottom here. That game, you can flick between performance and high frame rate. The high frame rate mode can go up to 120. There is some tests which may come out just to confirm that, but it is over 60, and independent people have put it out there as at least into the 90s at least. I've seen some things which is actually putting it a fair bit higher than that, but I think they just need to be confirmed through other sources as well. But Series X on xCloud, and I'm telling you now, for me, in my experience, we have to say this with all the cloud gaming services. In my experience, it is working absolutely grand. Before I even came on here, we were testing some Sea of Thieves in xCloud, and it was running absolutely brilliant for me. And it might be the better way for it to actually play Sea of Thieves even on the Series X, because it takes out the frame or the screen turn, which really does mean nothing when I'm playing on the Series X. You can just see the screen turn, but there was no screen turn when I was playing on the xCloud. But yeah, Series X, here we go. So we can get that talked about. Sammy, you can go first.
So this is now the most powerful in the cloud, I believe. Going by the infamous teraflop numbers, which I believe. Yeah, I believe so. For those of you, Series X is one of the big consoles up against PS5s, and to be able to get that in the cloud, downloaded or streamed, not downloaded, onto your own screens. I'll be honest, I've not played as much xCloud in the past few weeks. I've went into it the last couple of days. I'm not entirely sure, because the loading times, I can never remember how long they were back in the old days. And my eyes aren't brilliant at detecting frame rates. And I've only got a 1080p screen, so I can't get 4K resolutions. What would be the easiest way of telling whether someone can have, whether someone's got the Series X blades running on the game or the 1S? Would it be the graphics options in the menus, or
graphics options in the menus? I can pick up the 60 FPS straight away. I think it's just really noticeable depending on what games you go to.
I think if I did it side by side, I'd see it. But
I can tell you with the Sea of Thieves one we just did, I was playing on xCloud, Kelly was playing on a 1S, and I was in the Sea of Thieves a good minute before Kelly was. Yeah. There is that sort of difference in the speed. Some of the games take longer to load up, but you can just tell straight away, for me anyway, if you're on the Series S or the Xbox Series X blades or the One S. There's just so many wee things you can just notice, and the SSDs. If you played any xCloud at all, you go get yourself a cup of tea, put the kettle on, and before loading up. Now it is loading up. I'm not saying instantaneous, but it is on par with Stadia now.
I'd agree with that. I played a few other games. I played a bit of The Outer Worlds game, but I'd seen a little bit about beforehand. Obviously, the sequel's coming out on Game Pass soon. So I thought I'd give it a go. I'm not sure if that's running on the Series X blades. That's why I was asking the questions. But certainly the experience overall was incredibly smooth.
I'm just going to say this. I think all the games may be on the SSDs now. They may be on the SSDs, so you might get a boost there, even if it's not, you're not getting the performance of it. If that makes any sort of sense at all.
Yep. I know where you're coming from.
Where they've just dropped the games onto the faster hard drives, so the games will load up even though they're on Series or 1S sort of hardware. They've got the Series, or they're using the SSDs to grab the data from, so they load up quicker even if they're not over there. Because I think most of the games I tried were loading up quicker, even if they weren't. Sorry, Sammy, for interrupting.
No, I think I'd pretty much reached the end of my point. In fact, I can't remember what I was talking about. But no, I've been finding it very smooth, a Stadia-like experience, certainly.
Yeah. Barry?
Yes, I've had the opportunity to jump into kind of a few. I think I was talking about this on the green room last night. I've kind of been a little bit like a kid in a sweet shop. Let me try that one. Oh, I've booted it. It loads quicker. Great. Oh, let me try this one. that has been my xCloud experience this week. But no, I played some Six Siege yesterday, and I've checked out Like a Dragon. I've checked out Dirt 5 as well. And Dirt 5, I was saying yesterday, is the one that it has been the big kind of step up for me, I've noticed, because it kind of was... It certainly suffered a little bit in the early days of the kind of the PC beta of kind of pixelation. You could kind of see there wasn't necessarily the visual quality that you used to. And I know, Sammy, I think you've played it on Stadia.
I've played it on Stadia, and I did play it on xCloud in the old PCB beta days. And yes, I completely agree with you, though. It wasn't as optimized. I think is a kind way of putting it.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of this time round, I've kind of seen it as quite a dramatic difference. The boot time was infinitely quicker than it would, and the performance, it ran really well when it was kind of prioritizing graphics over performance. It looked great and it still ran really well. But then obviously if you flip the switch and kind of kick it into kind of frame rate being the performance mode, and prioritizing that over graphical performance, it still looks good. It still looks great, as you'd expect kind of from Dirt 5, and plays really smoothly as well. It's the one thing we said we couldn't wait for from an xCloud perspective is get the SSDs, get the Series X blades up and running, and then we can, when it's all bedded down, then we can really see where the chips lie. How are they doing? Because I think it's in the cloud gaming space, it's the one thing that everybody is talking about. Yes, Xbox are making moves, but can the Series X make the moves that put it into where it was a contender? I mean, I personally, early days of the beta, I didn't really. You could see some kind of performance differences, but it ran well for me anyway. And then obviously with the Series X blades coming in, it's just it's taken a step up on those selected games, because I think you may have said it, Duncan, but obviously it's around about 40 titles that it's been applied to so far that we're aware of. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, Duncan's nodding. Duncan is nodding.
And it's the names of those titles as well. These are the the bigger games on that list. It's not.
Yeah. I will. Or sorry, you're still going, Barry?
No, carry on.
I was going to say a few omissions. We've mentioned Forza, but
yeah, I'm going to go to Gandara's point here as well. Yeah, I think this is where we're touching this about models going forward, and this is where it's going to get really, really tricky for paid models when you're comparing we're talking Stadia Pro. I could absolutely understand Stadia Pro's pricing model at the start, where you're paying the £9 a month, $10 a month to get the 4K and all the bells and whistles. I think that ship has now sailed. I think if you're going to be a paid for model now, that has to go because you're now in competition. And with the Series X stuff being added to Game Pass, I'm just looking here, and to play Doom Eternal, I'm just on Stadia with all the bells and whistles. You are having to buy the game, and you're going to have to pay the $10 a month on top of that to get all that, or you pay
this is to play in 4K.
Yeah, or you pay $12 a month and you get Doom Eternal and the hundreds of other games on top of that as well. This is where the pricing and things like this are just going to stand out like a sore thumb. And this is where Stadia need to take the GFM route and get as many free-to-play games on there if they're going to go for that. Because GFN are approaching nearly 100 free-to-play games. And I am not exaggerating, 100 free-to-play games. It is literally nearly 100 free-to-play games, and including the elephant in the room. Yeah, with Fortnite. This is where Luna and Xbox have got a bit of a heads up on Stadia, because their subscription models just look a lot better value compared to Stadia, in my opinion. And I think it's absolutely great that Stadia has the buying model, and we do know it is coming to Xbox as well. We just have to see what all's going. This is why it's just so exciting for me. Xbox are just knocking it out from the park, and these step ups they are making are not small ones. I think, Barry, you touched on it when you and Sammy, you tried xCloud a couple of months ago, and it was, let's be frank, you didn't like the performance at all. You thought it was.
It's okay, but it wasn't.
So in certain games, it was more noticeable. So I think you could see, like, obviously, as we've got now, we've got selected titles that are running the Series X blades. Whereas before, obviously, you had games that were all there, but there were games that were better optimized than others. So you could kind of pick the noticeable ones out that didn't run that well. Yeah. Is what I'd say.
I put a wee test out there, or a wee video showing, just go to here, when I was doing the famous clicking test of how long it takes to fire trigger or jump and stuff like that. For me, xCloud is there. It's on par, if not. So I'm going to be at 0.9. It's ahead for me in Stadia for latency and things like that. In my conditions here, I can click and it's instantaneous. Stadia is still absolutely good and great, but it's behind. For me, it is behind GFN and Xbox. And I said with the Xbox stuff a couple of weeks ago when I got access to the trial, with Xbox is just knocking it out. They're bringing the games. We've got E3 has come and gone, and everybody's going, oh my God, look at all these games going to Game Pass. And people have forgot about the games which are still coming to Game Pass from the indie event. And I'm telling you now, there is going to be a sleeper game coming in July or August. And Barry knows what it is because I always call it wrong.
Moonglow Bay.
Moonglow Bay. I think that game could absolutely blow up. I think that has got a absolute sleeper hit all over that, and it is absolutely perfect for cloud. It's just so exciting. And this is not even talking about Flight Sim, which we dive deep into last night, going when that's going to come. I think there's just so much going on with Xbox, and it's exclusives, going straight into Game Pass day one. It's just absolutely class. Okay, I'm going to be a bit naughty here. Could xCloud be the best place to pay Outriders?
Yes.
I haven't played Outriders anywhere, so I wouldn't know.
I would probably say if you are playing, it's a tough one. It's probably between GFN and xCloud for Outriders, isn't it? I think. I mean, obviously, Stadia now, thankfully, is finally up to date. But I think from sheer performance, frame rate, consistency, I think you would probably say, yes, the other two cloud platforms in GFN or xCloud are going to run the game better.
And this is... we've turned this into a bit of a Stadia topic game, which is we don't want to, actually.
No, we keep going back to it.
The reason why we keep going back is because we really want Stadia to do so well, and we're just going.
It's again, we mentioned it earlier. We see the potential that Stadia needs to capitalize on it.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what's just a bit frustrating for me, anyway. Back to Xbox. Xbox are in an absolutely brilliant position, and with the Windows 11 news as well, with xCloud being built straight into Game Pass. They're just pushing it to every single device goal.
Yes, definitely. I'd agree. We got anything more to add on xCloud's week?
No, we will move on to GFN.
Okie dokie, no worries.
Okay. I spoiled that.
Spoilers, yeah.
Spoilers.
Even though I mentioned it earlier. But,
I can put this video on now, and it's on for ages, and you can see how bad I'm at this game. Go watch that, because that's got copyright strikes all over it.
It's for the in-game music. I don't like that. That's the original soundtrack. It's not even like Avicii, where it's anyway.
Yes. So obviously yesterday was GFN Thursday, as every week is. We've got accustomed to GFN Thursday. And this week they announced obviously another 13 games hitting the platform. Obviously I think the big ones for this week in terms of kind of availability of games was obviously the Lego Builders game, and also Phantom Abyss being available on the platform, both of which we have available on our channel for consumption. Oh dear.
Duncan's dancing, but I can't see the video where he's dancing, so it just looks completely weird to me.
I just thought that. I was thinking, who is he pointing at? What way is he pointing? Is he just dancing?
In 30 seconds' time, it will make sense on the screen down below, but he wasn't pointing there all the time.
Shut up! Back in your boxes.
Dear.
I'm just warming up.
Who do you think we are? Yeah.
I'm just warming up for...
yes.
Speaking of Lego, it's getting shown off there. I'm going to mention words which I think GFN are pushing really, really well. Ray tracing on GFN. Lego Builders has ray tracing in it. To actually access, you actually have to switch it on in the options, but you can see it in the video there. I think it's just mad they're putting ray tracing into strange sort of games there, but.
This is basically one of the biggest promises of the cloud. The ray tracing GPUs cost 4 figures.
Yeah,
I've not been able to find one of the 4 figures, but we can have one. We can have ray traced graphics on our games for what, $5.99 a month.
Yep.
If you're a founder.
If you're a founder, yeah.
If your priority is more.
If your priority, it's £9 or $10. But as we're going to be talking about after this show, I think it more than makes up for it when you actually see what you can get. We'll start off with this one here, and then we'll talk about Maker. Maker did a stream for Phantom Abyss. I think 2 absolutely great games here. Lego Journeys is only 2 hours mark, but
If you complete it quickly, you can get it refunded.
Don't be saying that, but yes.
No.
And but I think it's priced appropriately. It's about $20 sort of mark. It is fun. You could just go and chill out to this for them 2 hours, and I think you'll get your money's worth. I've played it for a fair bit there, and it is a load of fun. And you can see me. No, I didn't die in the tutorial because you can't die in this game.
You have a hard job dying in a Lego game. What do you step on a piece of Lego?
Yeah, but with this, I think it's a magical sort of game, and you can see I just got an achievement there, so you can get lots of achievements in it, which is also good. The learning curve isn't too great in it. There's some tricky wee bits. There was a bit in a couple of levels time where I was struggling to get the timing right, but it's not a difficult sort of game. It's more you're going to be frustrated with yourself if you can't see what you're meant to do and things like that. But I recommend it. And I think Maker had a great time playing on Phantom Abyss, and I think that game is blowing up a wee tad as well.
I had a great time watching him.
Yeah.
It looked like so much fun. I think I
really
said
did.
in the stream when he was playing it, I had I know he said kind of some serious indie vibes when he started. But I was watching it and I was like, it's like Pitfall on steroids was, I think, the term that I used.
Yeah.
I just want to shout out the chat here. Absolutely brilliant. I love people having discussions. As long as everything's respectful, I actually like debates going on there, which I think everything's is sort of fine there. I think what Sammy was meaning about with the graphics card was you have to buy them up the scalpers for like the 4 figures. Because people,
I've not seen any less than 4 figures.
You can't, yeah.
I suppose the 3060 actually does drop under 4 figures, about 700 or 800.
3070 Ti's triple. I think they dropped some Founders editions last week, and Nvidia, and they're around about.
Still, that's more than the entire PC I've got below my feet.
Yeah, I know.
And that's a gaming PC. I can run games locally on it. I don't have to use the cloud. I just choose to.
Minecraft.
I'm not my sister. My sister's got a more powerful PC. She uses that for Minecraft.
Yeah,
that's silly.
Speaking of which, we are going to have some Minecraft streams in the coming weeks. And yes,
don't tell my sister.
In case you didn't know this, we've got 2 new streamers. We've got Natasha and Chelsea, and they are going to be streaming some Minecraft and games like that. And I think
they're going to get you and Kelly involved as well.
Nope, they're definitely not getting me involved.
Sure,
I think they definitely are. That I'm sure that's what I read, that you'd signed up. You'd agreed to it.
I've not signed up to Minecraft.
I think it was you actually wanted Minecraft streams, and then they said they'd come along and join.
Yeah, of course. No, not a mission of me playing Minecraft. But GFN, we'll get back to GFN here. I think they have pulled off an absolute corker here with getting Kenna and the full name. The bridge
and the full name. There you go.
Kenna and the Bridge of the Spirits. That is a PlayStation exclusive. I know me and Barry both said PlayStation 5 exclusive. What we were meaning was just PlayStation exclusive. I think that is a absolutely brilliant get because they could go market this for Xbox users, Switch users, and everything to go and play this in GFN. I think that is a wonderful sort of get there for GFN, and I think that shows you their ambition. And that they're going after some really highly sought after titles, and they've done that throughout the year because they've got Valheim this year. They've got Dyson Sphere Factory when that was blowing up as well. They have been getting the big games. Obviously, they're missing some of the games which we know about, the EA games, the Activision games, Capcom games, but any other
that Resident Evil earlier this year.
Yeah, but they are picking up what games they can get. They are picking them up, and I think this is absolutely brilliant that they've got this one. Okay, no,
yeah,
no,
nice.
I'd agree. I mean, I think I said it last night. I kind of said it on Twitter this morning. It's absolutely great get for them, and it's a game that I'm super excited for as well, which always adds. I think when you see a platform kind of get a game that you've got an anticipation and an excitement for, then I think that it kind of adds to the announcement, which is good. But they're in a place of consistency. I don't think they're in a place of comfort in their own mind. I think on the outside, some people may say that GFN look pretty comfortable with what they're doing. But if I'm honest, I don't think they're allowing themselves to feel comfortable. I think they're just kind of continuing to push, pull out the surprises, pull out the stops, and consistently bring more and more titles that attract a variety of players to the platform.
I think that's it. It's they're not allowing themselves to be comfortable. We saw them bringing. It's still double digits numbers of games each week. It's to continue to do that. People say, yeah, it's kind of old news now. GFN have brought 10, 12, 15, 20 games to a platform each week. We kind of rattled it off and go, but they're continuing to do that. It's the ambition that I think is driving them. They want to get as many games as possible on there.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant point. This week they picked up a couple of day and date releases, and they also picked up some, I would call it close to day date and releases. What did I actually come off with? I can't even remember. Like Power Wash, near day, like Power Wash Simulator. I know people make fun of that, but that has actually got a
really fun game when you guys were talking about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're picking up these games which are games, and they've got an audience. And let's be absolutely frank here. I got that in tonight. If any of the other platforms, I'm including Xbox, I'm including Stadia, I'm including Luna, I'm including PlayStation Now, are dropping 10 plus games a week, we would say they're having an absolute stormer of a week. And GFN have been doing this consistently the whole
start of the year.
Yeah. And people are just saying they don't matter because the games don't matter to them. They have been in and amongst all the rubbish games, as people are calling them.
I had to look through the GFN catalogue last night for obviously our upcoming stream. We'll talk about more later. I was shocked at the amount of games that were on there that just passed me by, but I didn't realise were on there. But I didn't realise were that much fun. We're going to be that good. It shocked me the type of games they've got and how fun they can be.
Yeah. Just talking about it now, I actually want to go and change my list because I want to pick some of these fun games out.
Yeah.
I've went boring with my list, I think. But I'm just really excited. And as Andrew says in the chat, I think they do know their audience because they are picking up the PC heavy games, which people absolutely put the hours upon hours. I know when me and Barry go through the GFN Thursday show, we want this game, we want that game. Oh, we really want this game. We're going to add it to our
live wish listing,
live wish listing, and things like that. I think they are in a absolutely great spot, and they are absolutely being totally and utterly brilliant this year. If Xbox wasn't Xbox, they would be head and shoulders in front of everybody, and it would not be close. It's only because Xbox are up in the Series X, and they have got the exclusive games that it's. I think it's actually a lot closer between the two platforms than the people realize, because the games on GFN are nuts. And if you want to get into your subscriptions, you've got Humble Bundle. You get your free games every week off Epic. It's just brilliant. Sammy,
I can't disagree with that. I've gone through each week on GFN Thursdays and thought, it's another list of games. And, okay, that one might interest me, but I'm not particularly enjoy. I've liked GFN for the free-to-play stuff, to be honest. I've used it a lot for Fortnite, Rocket League, and stuff like that. Looking through last night, and I'm sure we'll talk about more on the next stream.
Yeah,
Absolutely ridiculous, the amount of games and the varied amounts of games. You've got some sports, you've got some simulation, you've got some racing. I was shocked at some of the racing games I found on GFN, actually.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely brilliant that they are picking up some of the big hardcore PC titles, doing the Paradox series. They've got all of them ones. Yes, that was on one of my lists, and then I had to take it off. There are some hints there where my head was at, but I think they know their audience. I think they're trying to embrace a wider audience that we've been talking about with the more arcadey sort of console-y type games they're trying to pull across as well. I just think I want more from them. I want more from all the platforms, but I think they're getting it. Well, as we are fair and even in this thing, what Barry was getting animated about with Stadia with the day and date, I think that's something which GFN needs to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've spoken about that on previous GFN Thursdays. You know, day and date releases kind of need to be in a timely fashion. You can't be losing a whole day. You know, pretty much before stuff dropping on.
Yeah. So we have seen with some of the bigger releases, Biomutant, a few hours later. I think going all the way back, Cyberpunk 2077 was out at the same time. So we know they can do it.
Yeah, I think they are working on it, but again, I think they're aware of the issues with that, and I think they are trying to fix them, which is absolutely great. And what I like about GFN, they're upfront and open about things if they come out and they say it. But when I criticize things, it's because I want for them to get better. But GFN have got so much going for them at this moment in time. It's just, I think, people outside of maybe who don't take an interest in the whole wider gaming cloud gaming space don't realize how good of a spot GFN are in. And I've said it before, and I will say it again. Even with the Series X upgrades and Xbox running so well, I still think I'm going to say it, I still think GFN's still out on front a tiny bit now as an overall sort of package. At this moment, I will say, because the xCloud still needs, or the more of the games need to come on board, and there's some bits and bobs. Okay,
Yes.
I think he stopped, gentlemen. But I think also that might be a good point for us to stop. We've gone through.
Yeah.
Gone through all the platforms. This isn't the last you'll see of us tonight. Oh, no.
15 minutes or so.
15 minutes. You want to push
or half an hour, do you say? Would you want a 50 or a bit longer, Barry?
So we'll let Barry decide, because he's got he literally came straight back home from work and was straight in front of his webcam.
I've had a message saying that apparently food is arriving at 9:15.
Past 9.
Would you like to go 9:30, 9:45, or should we just make it an even 10?
9:30 should be fine. I should be able to eat in 15 minutes.
Okay, because we don't want to go too late.
Yeah, I need to pack.
Yeah. So we will be back in 45 minutes for what is our first of many Cloudy specials. We think Top Gear, but with us, so it's going to be absolutely interesting. And I will give you a heads up on what is going to happen. We have been given a budget of £30.
Who's paid me £30? Sorry.
Okay, I didn't say we're buying the games or anything. We have been given a budget of £30.
You said I've been given a budget of £30. Who's paying me?
No one. We've been we have been given a budget of £30 to buy games in the GFN sale or the Steam sale, which we can play on GeForce Now. There is one caveat: one of the games has to be over £10 because, as someone has pointed out, Sammy, I think this is absolutely fair. We could absolutely get a ton of games in, so we had to
I
make it a
reckon
bit.
it's possible to get about 20 games for under £30 altogether.
Yeah, and we have an independent adjudicator, so we cannot have the same games.
Barry, have you told our independent adjudicator yet?
Yes, maybe in the last few minutes.
Okay, good. Right.
Yes. So this is what we're going to be doing in 45 minutes time. We are going to be going. So these are the games that we buy in the Steam sale if we had £30. So that's about $40 worth. So some interesting choices I think have been made. I know there've been interesting choices made by me. Some may shock people. Some will go, he's being an absolute boring so-and-so. But I have made choices, and we've all made choices.
Yes, indeed, we have. Some more recently than others. I'm just waiting for the. Feedback that all of my
our
choices.
Independent adjudicator are going to say, you need to change 3 of these games.
Yeah, what I can tell you, me and Sammy have not chose any of the games. We are completely different so far. Yeah. Oh. So
do we need to be on stream for this bit? We can end this now. Thank you very much for joining. We'll see you guys soon.
Okay.